bears responsibility for Wednesday's attack on Congress by mob rioters. He should have immediately denounced the mob when he saw what was unfolding.
I've had it with this guy. What he did is unacceptable. The only discussion I would have with him is that I think this will pass, and it would be my recommendation we should resign.
And I've been very clear to the president. He bears responsibilities for his words and actions. No ifs, ands, or buts.
Those clips are like a lunar event, right? You read that something's going to happen once in every 346 years, so you stay up till the middle of the night to see the moon or the sun do something amazing. Never before and never since has Kevin McCarthy told the truth about January 6th. But in those moments, in those instances, caught on film forever, he did. McCarthy's complete and total capitulation to Trump and the far-right members of his own party will have devastating consequences for the country if in 21 days Republicans should take back control of the House and install him as their speaker. In a brand new book with some incredible reporting from writer Robert Draper called Weapons of Mass Delusion, When the Republican Party Lost Its Mind, it was excerpted in the New York Times Magazine, far-right conspiracy theory peddling Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene tells Robert Draper that she is the future of the Republican Party. Draper writes this: in Greene's view, Speaker McCarthy would have little choice but to adopt Greene's a lot more aggressive approach toward punishing Biden and his fellow Democrats for what she sees as their policy derelictions and for conducting a witch hunt against former President Donald Trump. Quote, I think that to be the best Speaker of the House and to please the base, he's going to give me a lot of power and a lot of leeway, she predicted in a flat, unemotional voice. And if he doesn't, they're going to be very unhappy about it. I think that's the best way to read it. And that's not in any way a threat at all. I just think that's reality. We're back with Donna and Michael. It is indeed a threat. She is the pipeline to the most violent and extreme elements of the Republican Party, and giving her any power at all puts you in direct culpability, legally, morally, and politically, for all that she ushers in, Donna Edwards.
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene was kicked off of her committee assignments, I think, just a month after she took her oath of office. So the majority of the time that she's been in the Congress, she has not been on committees functioning like other members of Congress. And she was sort of on the outside and the fringe and that voice that nobody wanted to identify with. And today, and in the future Republican caucus conference in the Congress, she's going to be the mainstream. And so it reminds me that it's very different from when John Boehner and Paul Ryan were speakers, where they had at least a sizable number of members who were reasonable, who were not part of the Freedom Caucus, and who could work with Democrats just because they had to get some important things done. But this Congress coming up is going to be driven by the crazies. It's going to be driven by the Marjorie Taylor Greenes in the Congress. And I think it signals something very bad for the country if Republicans were to take control of the House. I think it also means that Kevin McCarthy is not going to have any control over that conference. I've been shocked to think that he would even become Speaker. And I still have some lingering doubts about that, given the nature of the potential Congress, either Speaker or Minority Leader continuing. And so I think we will see. But Marjorie Taylor Greene, her ethos, her aggressiveness, her dynamic is going to dominate the upcoming Congress.
Michael Steele. Apropos of our last conversation, the other thing that kills economies and democracies is a climate of domestic violent extremism. And what she embodies is, again, the most destabilizing element in our political and civic life right now. It is an extremism that represents, in the view of law enforcement and the Department of Homeland Security, a grave domestic security threat. What is going on? It's beyond a game of chicken. It's beyond Kevin McCarthy's pathetic, let me pick out your favorite Starburst flavors. It is pandering to someone who is dangerous.
It is, but you know, I think the part of this that's really kind of amazing is that they just ignore the danger. They think that somehow this works out better for them. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene has already telegraphed on a number of occasions, you will only be speaker if I say so, effectively, is what she said to him. You know, he traipses around and has her sitting at these political rallies behind him like she's some, you know, overseeing watchman of his future. And in effect, she really is. But Kevin McCarthy has not learned from the history of 3 prior Republican speakers of the House who've all been thrown out by their Republican caucus. Isn't that, I mean, stop and think about that, what Republicans have done to themselves going back to Newt Gingrich, John Boehner, and Paul Ryan, right? And so McCarthy's now next in line with a base that is prepared to throw him out should they allow him to be speaker. I agree with Donna, still not 100% that that's going to happen. But Kevin has decided to make his bed and is prepared to lie down with the lice, the fleas, and the blood-sucking ticks. And whatever befalls him is going to come from that relationship. And unfortunately for the country, we're going to have to bear the brunt of it.
It's incredible, extraordinary. Donna Edwards, Michael Steele, thank you so much for spending time with us today.